Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday afternoon, January the 3rd, 2021. I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, and we made it through 2020 kind of on eggshells there for a while, but we're here, and I'm still reporting on methane and sea ice and other climate related items. I will continue to do that as long as things hold up so that I can do it, and continue to bring the spiritual message that time is short and we all need to get our spiritual houses in order, because I believe that most of us will be leaving the planet in very short order, or a lot of people will be, and so I think the most important thing for preparation is the spiritual, getting ready to leave. So I'll be bringing that message in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start with methane data. Now, we've got a problem with CAMS. They did this last year. They had a lapse in reporting at the first of the year for about 14 days, and I had to open a support ticket, and it was a whole thing. It's on my website, but when they started releasing data, I missed some days, but once they started releasing data, the colors were changed. The color ledger was the same, but the overall background color was a lot lower from the Arctic Circle north. So anyway, I don't know what's going on, but they've only got data up for the 30th and the 31st, which is Wednesday and Thursday. So they should have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up, but they don't. So what I thought I'd do is I'll go ahead and show Thursday just so you have that. And that was the 31st, the last day of the year of 2020. And then I've got the NOAA data, my weekly report on that. So let's do the NOAA data first. So here's the information from NOAA for yesterday, the 2nd, for the 477/469 millibar reading. Here's the Met-Op1 satellite in the morning. The mean or average was 1,888 parts per billion. The high reading was 2361. In the afternoon, the mean was 18.8 again. The high reading was 2352. On the Met-Op2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1865 and the high reading was 2314. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1867 and the high reading was 2434. So you can see from those numbers that we've gone down this week. So here's the spreadsheet and chart. Here's the data for the 2nd. Here are the means added up and divided by 4. We come up with an average of 1,877 parts per billion. And that's showing a decrease for the last week of 3.5 parts per billion. So I don't think we bottomed out yet. And typically we should be going down in the winter time and then not really coming back up until April. But last year and the year before that, it started coming back up early. And considering we're really in no man's land, we don't know what to expect. And we've got the jet stream is breaking down, and we've got so much climate chaos. It's just up for grabs what it's going to be like. But anyway, last Saturday on the 26th, it was 1880.5, and it had gone down a large decrease that week of 7.25. And so this week we're 1877, so we've gone down another 3.5. So here we are. We've gone down from here to here this week. So we're below this 1880 line. Now, last year we bottomed out on December the 28th here. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look back. 1861.75. And then on January the 4th, which would have been a year ago today, see, it already started coming back up. It was 1866. So, the change from January the 4th of 2020 to January the 2nd, 2021 is an increase of 11 parts per billion. We're 11 parts per billion higher than where we were a year ago. I mean, that's the bottom line. You can see it here. So here we were last year. It started coming back up. So we're 11 higher. And so we're going to definitely keep tracking this. And I'm also tracking it on a daily basis and reporting it daily to my members on my Subscribe Star channel. I forgot to put my background color there. There we go. So let's see what it did this week. Here it was on the 26th of 1880.5, and then on Sunday it went down another 3 parts per billion, 1877.5, and I thought that was going to be the bottom. And then it went up on the 28th, went up 1, and then on the 29th it went up 1.5, then on the 30th it went up 0.25, then on the 31st it went down 1.5, and on the 1st, now according to their numbers it went down 3 parts per billion, but on one of the readings, it was the Methane 2 satellite in the morning, there was a lot of white on it. There was a lot of missing data. So, I mean, I'm going to leave it in there, but I'm not going to really count that as the lowest. But just because it could be a mistake. And then here it is for a report today for the 2nd, which was yesterday. And it was 1877. So if we discount the one for the 1st, because the possible missing data, then the lowest we've got so far is 177 for this winter season. But for December it was 177.5. So but anyway, but we're still in the winter season where it's, you know, we're not ready really for it to go back up. So this could be our bottomed out reading, this 1877 for this winter, for 2020 to 2021. So we'll see. We'll see. But I will definitely keep everyone updated on that. If nothing else, we'll keep on top of this. And I've been tracking this since March the 1st of 2019. And since March the 1st of 2019, well, I don't have that one. I thought I did. Anyway, oh yeah, it's right here. March the 1st of 2019 to yesterday, it's showing an increase of 19.75. Now that it had already started going up there. But just the big thing is we're 11 parts per billion higher than we were a year ago. This time a year ago. So we're in no man's land. Now we'll look at the CAMS data. I will refresh just in case they got new data up. Now, if you want to see what happened last year, here's my website, and you can go to Subscribe Archives. This is where all my research is archived, and you can go to January 2020, and see here's my methane report on January the 1st for the 31st. For the 31st, 2019 is just a silent video, just recording CAMS, and then there's no methane released until January the 14th. Here are all my posts. And I'm reporting on sulfur dioxide and earthquakes and volcanoes and other things. And then here by January the 8th, the methane page was totally blank, and you get that thing that comes up. And then on January the 9th, I opened a support ticket on CAMS regarding missing methane and carbon dioxide data. And I say the last time I did that, they changed the color ledgers for methane. Then I got a response back from the support staff saying that they were aware of it on the 8th. You know, so it'd been down for 8 days. And then here we've got a volcano going off. And so I'm reporting on sulfur dioxide. Then on the 14th, they started putting up new methane data, and the first data was for Sunday, January 5th. So there was no data for the 1st through the 4th, and so I recorded it as a little silent movie, and it had, the colors had calmed down, it had changed, and even though methane was on the rise, according to NOAA, the colors had gone way down here. And so I think that's when they tweaked the algorithms. And then I'm just recording it as soon as it comes out. And then I did an analysis, it's on YouTube, of what I'd found. I did that on January the 15th, And the only days I was not able to get was January 1st through the 4th and January the 6th. But I was up day and night recording this as soon as the data was coming out, because what they do when they start releasing the data, they're trying to catch up. They'll put up one day at a time, and if they're so far behind, they might just leave it up for an hour or 2 hours, and then they put up the next one and the first one's gone. So you got to be on it. So if you want to look at what happened last year, that's on my Subscribe Star archives page on my website in January of 2020. So I'm real pleased with my archives, and it's a good research tool if you want to see where we've been. You know, you can go back through any of these months, starting from March of 2019. Started in the end of March of 2019, and you can check it out. It's there for anyone to look at. So in the meantime, let's run this methane data for Thursday the 31st, Arctic view and surface level. So let's just see where we were on the 31st. So on the 31st, it was 1878.75, so it was 1.75 higher than where we are right now. So we'll go ahead and run this. So the data was for Thursday and the forecast was for Friday through Monday. Now we're seeing it come back to life around Komsolomitz Island here, and here on the coast of Alaska near Koktovik. We've got high releases here in Russia, and up here the background colors are higher. We're also seeing here at North Dakota, there's a lignite coal mine here in North Dakota that's always spewing up methane. They are also sequestering carbon dioxide. I think it's carbon. And they pipe it up to Canada. They use it for fracking up in Canada. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So it's always got a whole bunch of methane coming up, but it's unusually bad right now for whatever reason. Now we'll look at the North Pole view. But what'd I do? I got the South Pole, sorry. I was so tired. I didn't sleep last night. I might have slept an hour or two, but I've been up since 3. I just couldn't sleep. So I'm just kind of like halfway here. Now you can still see the waves of green moving out in the Arctic. This is coming up through the sea ice, and the refreeze is having issues. And we're going to look at Arctic sea ice today too. I'm going to go over it for the last couple of weeks. India's still pretty filled up. The Bengal Bay is not looking good. There was a big wave of methane that got released from southern China. Now watch this. I'll stop it at the beginning. You see this? This is Thursday. Now, I guess it was Tuesday or Wednesday. This big black cloud started here in China, and then it was like the ground just opened up and this wave just moved down through southern Asia. It's incredible. You hardly ever see it like that. So I don't know what caused that. And then it starts up all over again. We can see the Persian Gulf is filled up again. Europe has high methane readings all the way through it. And North America is not looking very good, especially look at Texas, California, and all those places. Now we'll go to the global view. Now we've got this purplish color over a lot of the southern hemisphere, and that's the next color down from this dark blue or the navy blue. The navy blue is 1800 parts per billion, and this hazy purple is 1780 parts per billion. We see New Zealand's coming back to life. It's popping up. And Australia around, you can see Australia come to life around this, especially this east coast. And down here at Perth, that's the Perth area there. We've got the little hint of this white spot still in China. That's at Beijing. I did some research on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. And if you're not familiar with Bitcoin and blockchain technology, the Bitcoin miners, they have stacks and stacks and stacks of computers just mining the cryptocurrency and finding it on the blockchain. And China has most of the Bitcoin miners or cryptocurrency miners in the world. They used to have, I think, around 90% of them, and I think it's about 78 to 80% now. And the hub is in Beijing, and the reason for that is because of the cheap electricity. And so we've seen that this Beijing area has the highest pollution on the planet, and China is the highest polluter on the planet, and the worst air quality, but especially Beijing. And they produce their electricity from burning coal. So there you go. There you have it. And even with nuclear, if they think that they're going to create green nuclear plants, they have to have a coal plant for all the nuclear plants to make electricity to run the nuclear plants. So we'll never be off of fossil fuels. We never will. It's just anyone who thinks that they're just kind of doing a mental exercise, a mental pipe dream. I could call it something else, but I won't. Here's 500 HPA, so we've got, we can see it's going down. Not a lot of reds right over the top part, but we've got some reds from Europe up and from Russia up here, but we've got a lot of oranges and yellows as well, which is a lower methane reading. Here's total column. And for a long time, China had outlawed trading of Bitcoin in China, or I think it was either trading or cashing in on it, because they wanted to control the finances. But I think they've eased up on that now. Anyway, so here we can see the highest readings down here over southern Asia and here over in southern India, and this is from that cloud from China that had moved down. Now, I was also showing my Subscribe-Star members in the video from yesterday. We've got some really high nitrogen dioxide readings over the Middle East and Kazakhstan, and I haven't figured out exactly what it's from. I have my ideas that I can't prove, but these readings are extreme, and the readings, to get the highest readings in the day, see the sun, you have to track it with the sun here. So this is Iran. Here's the Caspian Sea. This is Iran right here. This is Kazakhstan, and see how it's spread out over China, and then here is China near Beijing. So these are extreme readings. I don't know what it's from. It's you wouldn't think that there would be anything in southern Kazakhstan that would be setting off something like that, or anything in Mongolia that would be that toxic. But I'm just wondering if it's like some kind of rockets or that they're testing, or something like that. And it's been really high for the last week or so. And Kazakhstan is heavily connected with Russia. It used to be part of Russia, but it's not anymore. But Russia still has its cosmodrome and a lot of top secret military stuff there, where they test missiles and stuff like that throughout Kazakhstan. So I just thought that was weird. So let's move on. Now we'll move on. I'll finish up these pictures here. Here's the ozone over the Antarctic today. Now we can see that the real thin part, the hole in the danger zone, has closed up this week, but it's still quite thin. The green is still below normal or below average. The solid yellow is 300 Dobson units, and that's considered average. Here's the Arctic view. It's thin here over Iceland, and see where it's so dark. This is originating from China, and I believe it's from the bad ozone. from all the pollution. Here's the global view for ozone. You see this aqua? This is quite thin. This is right around the mid latitudes. So we've got it thin from the southern part of North America down throughout South America, all of Africa, parts of this northern hemisphere here, and then India, and then all of Australia. You're looking thin. And see, over the southern Asia, that's quite thin. Here's sulfur dioxide for today. Now we've been having some high readings here. This is in southern Kazakhstan. We've been having some high readings come up over here on the Iraq-Iran border. But that's kind of spread out now. We've been having high readings off this western coast of Peru, Ecuador, and Chile down here, South America. I think this is from plate movement and from volcanoes. It's high here, see, in China, again over Beijing. Here it is at 500 HPA. We're not seeing anything really extreme like with a volcano blasting up. This is leftover from what's been coming up this week. Here's this East Tropic view. So here's China, here's southern Kazakhstan, and then it moves into China here. See where it goes over. This is the Tibetan Plateau. So this correlates with the nitrogen dioxide. See the line there? And methane. We've got high methane here too. Here's Mongolia, and then this is Russia. Now we had some large earthquakes here in southern Russia yesterday. We had a 5.1 right down here. Here's 500 HPA. We got a higher reading here on Kamchatka. This is from one of the volcanoes going off up there. Here's the Pacific view. So if you can imagine the ring of fire where we see all those earthquakes around the Pacific. And we've got a lot of plate movement and earthquakes and volcanoes, and that releases a lot of sulfur dioxide. Here's Hawaii. See, still streaming up. Here it is from Popocatépetl in Mexico. Here it is at 500 HPA. And we've got volcanoes going off on this west coast of South America. We've got them all the way down going off here. I can't remember all the names of them, but that's all adding to the sulfur dioxide mix too. Now we'll move on to sea ice. Now it's been a couple of weeks since I reported on sea ice fully, so we're going to look through. I've got a slideshow ready here. This is from Climate Reanalyzer. This is sea ice and snow cover. Here it is for today. And here's Svalbard, here's Greenland, and we can see that it's struggling to freeze on this west side of Greenland, and it's kind of retreating here. We had seen it further out, but then it retreated. So it's been struggling. It's come back to the coastline, all in the Arctic Ocean, And here in the Kara Sea, it's coming back. There's a little hole still open here by Novaya Zemlya. Still open in most of the Barents Sea from where the Atlantic's coming up. The Bering Strait has refrozen, just a thin part there. So let's go through this slideshow. Here we were on December the 20th. This was the last time I reported on this on on my weekly updates. And I think I just missed one day. I thought I'd gotten all of them, but I guess I missed one day. So we'll go through this. Here's the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. You see the retreat there. 25th, it's retreating again. 26th, and retreating again. 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Or I missed the 30th, so that's the 31st. Here's January 1st, January 2nd, and then today the 3rd. So the extent is having trouble. Mainly it's thickening up a little bit, but we're at a record low for this time of year. You'll see on our National Snow and Ice Data Center. Now here's from the Navy website. Here's sea ice thickness for today. We can see as it goes into the darker purple, it's 1 meter thick, and into the blue, that's 1.25 meters thick. And when you get into the dark aqua, that's about 1.5 meters thick, and the bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. So we're not really seeing any super thick sea ice to speak of. That's all gone. The multi-year ice, what was left of it, is right here, and it's struggling. It's been sliding down into this Beaufort Sea, into the gyre. So here we are, just zoomed in. See, it's thickening up still north of Greenland, but we've got an area. This is struggling right here, just north of Greenland and coming back up to the North Pole. And then here's this like semicircle of what's left of the thickest sea ice, and it's been sliding. Now we can see it's come back along the coastline, all along Russia, and it's moved into aqua on some of these on the coastline. Here's the Bering Strait. It's pretty thin right here around Alaska, and it's coming back here by Russia in this Okhotsk Sea. That's coming back out there. That's here's Novaya Zemlya, and so that's almost all refrozen there. And here's Svalbard. It's struggling. And then this is the Barents Sea, and that's free and clear. And here in the Baffin Bay, we still have a lot of open area on this west coast of Greenland. And here the Hudson Bay has refrozen, and all these tributaries have refrozen, and they're thickening up as well. Now here's the 30-day animation. They did update this. So the forecast goes out to January the 10th. Now you can see the movement of this ice in the last 30 days. How it started out better at the beginning, like around the middle of December, and then it's been retreating. See, that's not good. That's not good. And then you can see this mass just sliding down. See? It's thickening up a little bit, not much though. And it's not anchored to the coastline here. It got pulled away and it's been kind of free floating. See that? So there's that. Oh, I'm not ready for Antarctic. Okay, here's the Beaufort Sea view of the sea ice thickness. Here it is for today. So this is Canada. Here's Alaska down here. Here's what's left of the thickest sea ice. We've got a little skim of red, and then the darker red, just a little hint of it up here, up to the highest it reads is 5 meters thick, but we don't have hardly any that much. It's pulled away from the coastline. Here we can see that it's quite thin, and it's moving on down. Now we'll look at the 30-day animation. So again, it forecasts out to a week from now, to the 10th. And we can see in the forecast period that this whole mass moves out from the coastline again. The sea ice drift is pulling it out. And you can see the pieces, see, kind of all moving down. Now yesterday I saw a crack here, but I'm not seeing a crack right now. But it's moving pretty fast. It is cracking up here. See that? See the line? We'll stop it. Here it is on the 30th. I mean the last day of the animation. Here it is on the 10th. You can see a crack here. Now let's go back. So here it is today. See how it's pulled out here and in this little bay area. So let's watch this. Here it comes, it's being pulled out. Pulled out some more. And there's the last day. And we can see white along the coastline here and light purple. So it's not anchored. It's, you know, it can just go right on out. Here's the Antarctic sea ice thickness for today. Now we can see a lot of melting has happened in this last week. It's in high melt. See around the coastlines here. A lot of these ice shelves from the glaciers have already, the sea ice has already melted up to the ice shelf, the little tongues. Here's the Ross Sea, it's opening up. Over here by the Thwaites Glacier, the Doomsday Glacier, see it's all melted around there. Pine Island is melting. This is the Weddell Sea, it's in high melt. This is the Western Peninsula. So let's look at this. There's the 30-day animation. Typically, almost all of the ice melts here in their summertime. And then it refreezes once it goes dark. That's just amazing to see how fast it's melting. Just shocking, frankly. And again, this acts as an air conditioner for the planet. And the sun is up 24/7 down there. So there's that. That's all of those. Now let's move on. I want to look at National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Sea Ice Index for yesterday, their day behind. This is the blue marble view and concentration. This is the Arctic, and see the blue, the darker blue it is, the less concentrated it is. So it's been struggling right here. It had been better here north of Greenland, but it's struggling, and again here around Franz Josef Land. Now here's the graph for the sea ice extent. This blue line is this year. The dotted line is the 2012 to 2013 winter. So we had been below 2012 for most of the winter, and then this week or last week we kind of rose above, or kind of tied up with 2012. We're on the refreeze here, but now we're below 2012, so we're at the lowest level ever for this time of year on the extent. And remember that in 2012 that the ice was much thicker. There was much more volume of ice for it to work with. So with it being so thin, with this extent, and with the refreeze not going very well, that means that it'll melt faster and faster and faster, and the blue ocean event will happen that much faster. We're not sure when it's going to happen. It could happen 2021, 2022. Most or a lot of them are saying, a lot of the climate scientists are saying 2022. But we're seeing the effects of it. It doesn't have to be completely ice-free for us to see the effects of it already, and have awful weather, and all, the collapse is happening. So here's the Antarctic for today. again, this is sea ice concentration. So here's the graph for Antarctic sea ice extent. Now, here's the blue line for this year. This thick line was from 2019. It had been low. It had been like the all-time low. And we had been way above it. But see, in the melt here, we're coming down and meeting last year. So it's melting really fast. So we're almost at the all-time low for this time of year. So there's that. Now I want to look at NASA Worldview. I'll refresh this. So here we are today. This is sea ice concentration. And we want to see it white. We want to see nice and white. That means it's nice and solid, frozen in between all the pieces of sea ice and, ready to thicken up. But here's where it's struggling. This is the Fram Strait. Here's Svalbard. See, it's all open here on this left side. And this is actually deteriorating. It's going down from red into the yellows now. This is Greenland, and we've got a hole here on this northwest edge in the nearest strait. So I want to just go back. Last week was, the 27th? Let's go back. Here we were last week. So I'll just click through and you can see what happened this week. Uh-oh, you see that? See the red come back there on the first. And now it's spreading out. And here we are. And it's struggling around Svalbard too. So we're not doing that great. And I want to hop on down to the Antarctic. Refresh this. Oh, I'm surprised we don't have all the data in yet. I'm tracking this A68 iceberg. Now it broke up. They steered it off. It did not run into the South Georgia island right there. Look at this. See this? See this? This is man-made. I believe it got steered away from the island by the beaming, and then it broke off. This is the finger that was on the front end. This is what was at the back end, and the finger had been attached here. This piece had been attached to the back end, and it's so it's moved away from this island, but it's kind of spinning, and we've got the South Sandwich Islands over here that it could run into if they don't steer it away with more beaming. So I'm watching that. See, we've got a cloud over it right now, but we can see what happened to it this week. So here's where it was last Sunday. See? About the same area. Here's the island. Now we've got a bunch of clouds. Now see, it's turning. See, right there. And see how it's turned again. It's just rotating. That was a big rotation on the first. Here it is on the second and the third. So it's just rotating. They've got it spinning in one place, so it won't run into the islands. Well, we're missing data here on this western peninsula. So let's see what we've got. Here's Pine Island Glacier. This is where it had refrozen. It had calved off last year all the way up here. Now this is cloud covered, so we can't really see. It's already started cracking up here. We can't really see that very well. This is the Thwaites Glacier here. This is cloud covered, but the tongue has separated from that. It had broken off, but it had refrozen. Now we can see here on the 31st, see the pieces are coming away. See that? This is Doomsday Glacier. So when this starts calving, I mean, people are going to be real up in arms, because this ice will cause massive sea level rise. That's why it's called the Doomsday Glacier. See how it's already melted up to the coastline here. Here's the Ross Sea, here's the Ross Ice Shelf. We've got clouds here. See, it's already melted up to the ice shelf. See around these borders. See this? This is the Totten Glacier, I believe. And it's already melted. See here, this is a good view yesterday. So here's this ice shelf and the tongue. Normally it doesn't melt, the sea ice stays pretty frozen around here, but it's already melted off. Now I can't tell if that's just the cloud or if it broke off some more. We'll have to look the next time it's cloud free there. See how it's melted up to the coastline. Here's the Amory ice sheet. This is a big one. This is where a lot of glaciers feed into this, and you can see the flow, how it flows down. Now, here's where the ice had refrozen up to the edge, and so that's melting and breaking off now. Where it had refrozen. And those are clouds we're looking through there. And see, it's melted here. See all of that? Right up to the edge. Here's the brunt ice sheet. That's a pretty good view. Here's the crack, one of them. They've got a couple of big cracks on here. It's still intact though. I wonder for how long. And then this is the Weddell Sea here. So there's that. So let's look at Climate Reanalyzer now. Now they've changed this chart on the right just a couple of days ago. They've increased the highest. It used to be 30 degrees Celsius higher than normal. Now it's 32. But I think it can go higher than that. And so the colors are a little bit different here. They've demarcated the difference in the colors here. This is 2-meter temperature anomaly in the Arctic. Now look, we're into this pink zone. So that's like 24°C higher than normal. And then when you go to super light pink, that's higher. And then the white, that's 32°C higher than normal. And look at Canada. It's got a lot of red and browns over it. So the Arctic is up 3.6°C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.9°C higher than normal. You see the purples here over Russia. That's colder than normal. And the blues. There's the Antarctic. Here's precipitation and clouds. We can see it's raining up by Iceland and Greenland. This is snow up here. Here's rain on the west coast of Canada and the U.S. Pacific Northwest. There's a huge storm hitting the Aleutian Islands. Here it's an Arctic storm. It's huge. They had a 6.1 earthquake up there too today. I think it was today or last night. Here's 10-meter wind speed. Here it is fast up here. The North Pacific. Here's sea level pressure. Here's our low over the Arctic. What is that? 993. The low over here over the Aleutian Islands looks like 969 or 964. Then another low further down, 977. So that could be very, very, very destructive. High winds and things there. Here's the jet stream. See, it's coming, zipping up and right up through this Fram Strait and then dipping back down. So we can see the jet stream collapsing now. No more nice circular anything. It's dipping low and breaking up, and it's hard to tell what's from the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So this is causing climate chaos. We saw sea ice and snow cover. There's that. Sea surface temperature anomaly. Wednesday was the last day they updated this. We're still seeing browns up here in the Arctic. And look at this red and pinky color in the North Atlantic. So the Northern Hemisphere, North Atlantic, and North Pacific are up 0.5 C higher than normal. Look at all this brown. See around Australia, Indonesia, and then Japan. Japan has red around it too. We've got a blob here in the South Atlantic, just off the coast of South America. And we've got our Pacific blob, South Pacific, that we're watching. So there's that. Now I want to go over earthquakes. I took these pictures this morning. There were 258 worldwide. Now look at all of the big dots. Here's the 6.1 in the Aleutian Islands. These dots here are fives. A lot of fives. See, look here in the Atlantic. 3 there. Here in the South Pacific and West Pacific. Those are fives, and then these are fours. And we're getting larger earthquakes here in the U.S. as well. The lower 48, we're showing 147 today. Notice this. This is a 4. I think this is a 4.1 in Idaho. We've got one on the Juan de Fuca plate and one up here in northern, looks like northern Idaho. I forgot to zoom in on that one, I think. Here in Southern California, we've got 15. That's a low number for today. Searles Valley Ridgecrest area is showing 29. The largest one is that blue highlighted one at 2.7 at Ridgecrest. Here in western Nevada, from Tonopah over to Mammoth Lakes is 43. Here in the Reno area, we've got 2 west of Reno at Verdi, 2.7 and 1.6. Now this is the San Francisco area. See all of these around here, and just south of there, there's a cluster happening down here at the Pinnacles. We've got 30 here today. Now that's a very high number for this area. Now here's a close-up of the Pinnacles region. We got 20 here clustering. We've got a 3.2. It's the largest one in the last 24 hours. But they've been mainly in the twos range. So that's unusual, and that's right on that red line, which is the San Andreas fault line. Here's this 4.2 at Georgetown, Idaho. It's in southeast Idaho. Texas and Oklahoma are showing 4 today. We've got a 2.9 at Mentone, Texas, and a 2.9 at Falls City, Texas. Puerto Rico is showing 15, with the largest one being this one here in the ocean, a 3.5 at the bottom, Bonaire, St. Eustatius, and Saba. Here on the Cocos Plate and off the coast of Central America, we've got 4, 2 4.7s and a 4.3 and a 4.2. And then in South America, we've got 2 today of 4.5 at Chile and a 4.4 off the coast of Peru. Here is the 5.2 at the central mid-Atlantic ridge, just between Africa and South America, right on that red line. So we're seeing plate movement. Here in the South Atlantic region, we've got 3. We've got 2 5.1s in the southern mid-Atlantic ridge, and then we've got a 5.1 at South Shetland Islands, just north of this western peninsula in the Antarctic. Hawaii is showing 15 today, mainly clustering here at Pahala. Kilauea is quiet. Here's Alaska, they're showing 59 today. The largest one is the 6.1 near Adak in the Aleutian Islands. That came in at 4:38 this morning. That's probably why I couldn't sleep. I'm sensitive. I wake up before we have a big earthquake. I wake up and then I can't go back to sleep. Here in the South Pacific, we've got 3. We've got a 5.1 at Tonga, 4.4 south of the Fiji Islands right here. This one was 601 kilometers deep, very deep. And then up here, 5.3 at Palau region. Here on the West Pacific, we've got a 4.1 near Taiwan, and a 5.1 and 5.0 near Katsurin, Hubar region, just east of Taiwan here. And then a 4.1 to the west of Hokkaido, Japan, near Iwanai, Japan. Right on that line. Here in the Middle East and in the Mediterranean, we've got 4. We've got a 4.2 at Minab, Iran. Right down here. Got a 4.0. Not sure where that is. 2.6 Croatia, right up here, and the 4.4 at Turkey. So this other one, this 4.0 is here. This is a Russia reporting station. It's right at the southern end of Russia, right next to Azerbaijan, and it looks like it's on the coastline of the Caspian Sea. That's all of those. Let's see what else has happened earthquake-wise. Here's that 6.1. See how big that is? Big dot. Okay, I missed this one to zoom in. This is in Montana, 3.2 at Stryker, Montana. This came in last night, right around midnight. I didn't sleep. It was maybe an hour, 2 hours. So you can see all of that. So there's that. So I'd like to go ahead and finish up. Continuing reading out of the book of Psalms. I finished up chapter 119 this week, during the week. So today, Psalms chapter 125. A Song of Degrees. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth for ever. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people, from henceforth even for ever. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Do good, O Lord, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel. Psalms chapter 125. So this is talking about the supernatural protection of God's hand for those who believe, put their trust in Him, and also in Jesus. Now, of course, these were written before Jesus came. These were written by David, most of them. And Jesus is a descendant of the house of David. But this is, testimony to being protected supernaturally by God's hand. And we can have that if we put our faith in God, and complete faith and trust, and walk the straight and narrow. I mean, you can't say, God, please fix this, please fix that, and not repent and then not change your ways. You've got to walk the straight and narrow, and people know when they're doing wrong. People know. And nothing is hidden from God's eyes. Nothing's hidden. You think that just because other people can't see it, God sees it. And there will be a judgment. And it'll be coming, and it will come for everyone. So I'll go ahead and sign off for today. And hope you have a good week. Thank you for being here. I love you all, and I'm praying for you. And if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now before it's too late, and that you start asking for the supernatural protection of God in your life, and for His guidance and uplifting you. And it's a true change when you truly commit yourself. I mean, you're changed from it, and then you grow with it in the Spirit. So until next time, I love you, and I'm praying for all of you. God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.